Hi Capricorn, Trishna here. Welcome to your August 2019 Success and Abundance reading. So what I'm feeling for you is I feel like you are really working towards your purpose or your goal or your project or some area of your life. And I feel like you have all the determination, all the positive thoughts, all the willpower, and you're just going full force forward. And I feel like you are keeping your mentality positive and in a high flying place. And I feel like you're maybe doing one of two things. Either you are so focused on your work that you don't really get a chance to get out there or interact with other people. And so nobody can ever really bring you down because you're just not around other people. So they never really get the chance to bring you down because they're not around you either because you're not around them. Or I feel like maybe you are around a lot of people and you're just so positive and you have so much force of will about your positive mentality that nobody dares say anything against your goals or your purpose or what you believe in yourself because they know that if they do, that they're just going to be in for a very positive, optimistic beatdown by you where you will just be like, no, of course this is going to work for all of these reasons. So I feel like that is a good thing. I feel like that's a pretty positive thing. Your mindset is in the right place. I do feel like there is a little bit of this protection mechanism where you are kind of pushing out your mental willpower a little too strongly because you don't want anybody to bring you down. And I know in the last video, I think it was August, the August beginning videos, I mentioned how you have found your purpose, you have found your calling, you are getting results, and you have your mentality in a really good place, but there may be somebody in your vicinity who is or has in the past not been very positive about what you're doing, maybe because of insecurities in themselves, or they have not been very supportive of you. And whether or not they're saying that now or they've said it in the past, some of those thoughts are kind of feeding in, and you're having this internal battle within yourself of positive thoughts that are yours and negative thoughts that came from outside of you. And so I think that right now maybe you're in this protection mode where it's like I have to go full force mental positivity because I don't want negative thoughts to come into my space. I don't want to hear something negative and then feel bad and then start doubting myself and then that slow me down towards my progress. So like that I understand. Like that's pretty normal. Or maybe some of you, I think a very very small portion of you might be doing this protection mechanism in the sense that like maybe you are not really sharing what you're working on right now so that nobody can really put it down. I feel like that's a very small percentage because, or maybe almost none of you, but I feel like there's a message that comes in here relating to Capricorns that I want to share with you. That's why I'm getting that. Like it's either a very small percentage of you that's kind of protecting yourself in that way, not really sharing what you're doing just yet, or none of you are, and that's because it's not the Capricorn way. Oh, I see. This is the uplifting message. It's not the Capricorn way to hide what you're doing to protect yourself. Now, if you've done that and you feel like that's why you've done that, why you haven't shared things with other people because it's you're protecting yourself, that's not really what's going on. That's not the Capricorn way. That's not your way. If you ever have something that you're working on and you don't mention it to certain people or to anybody at all, it's not because it's not really because you're being secretive. You may think you are, but it's not. It's not because you don't want them to doubt you. Maybe there's a part of that, but really I think it's because you're just very selective because you don't like unnecessary distractions. That's what it is. So you may think that you fear people making you doubt yourself and you don't want to expose yourself to that because then it will carry you on this path of having to now re-believe in yourself. But that's not what it's really about. It's really that you don't like unnecessary distractions. So you're not going to mention what you're working on to somebody who isn't going to support you because that is a distraction. You don't have time for people who don't believe in you because you do believe in you. And they're just a distraction to you achieving your goal, and you don't like distractions. You don't like being taken off your path. So it's not the fear of doubting yourself, it's the you don't want to be distracted from your path. Like you have places to go, things to do, and people can believe in you or they cannot believe in you. You don't really care. But if they're not going to believe in you, you don't want them to be a part of your journey. Like they can be in your life, but you're not going to make them a part of the journey that you're working on because what's the point? And you are open to constructive criticism, but then there are people who don't believe in you, and those are the people that you just don't have the time of day for when it comes to working on your goals. Like I was saying before, you can still be friends with them, but when you're working on something, you are very selective about who gets the privilege of knowing what you're doing and who doesn't. People have to earn the privilege of being a part of your success and your journey. They don't just get it, like they can't, that doesn't go to everybody because you got things to do. You can't waste your time on people who don't believe, because you want people who are going to propel you forward in positive ways and give you criticism that will help you, not people that are going to drag you down. So I think that now that you have this distinction, it's very subtle, but now you have this distinction of I'm not trying to protect myself. I don't need to protect myself. That's not what's going on here. And you have the understanding that, you do have the willpower. I think now you can make the shift to. So I think you've right now been very focused on the mindset side of really forcing the mindset, putting it out there. If you've been interacting with other people, you've been forcing your mindset on them of I'm going to be successful, this is going to work, and I don't want to hear anything aside from that. So I think you've been very, very focused on the mindset side of things. And I think now it's time for you to shift that determination and that drive to the actually doing side of things. So now, take a lot of that mindset energy and move it towards actually producing what it is that you need to produce for your goals, for your career, for your purpose, for your relationship, or whatever area this applies to. And, because mindset is very, very important. That is the underlying basis of it all. But I think you're at the point where you're forcing it a little too much because you've been thinking that you need to protect yourself. But now you know that you don't need to protect yourself. You just don't like to waste your time on the people who aren't going to support you. You don't want to waste your time on them when it comes to your goals. So now shift that because you don't need to convince other people. You don't really need to convince yourself. You may think you need to convince yourself, but you don't really need to convince yourself that you're going to be successful or that you can do this because deep down, you really, really, really do know that you believe in yourself. You do. You always have. You always, always have. And now that I think you're kind of coming to terms with that, I think you need to go back to the action. And, I'm not saying that you haven't been doing the action, but I feel like you need to make a shift and you need to start producing because that is what's going to make you feel really good later. The mindset work you've already done. So you need to let that be. And you can keep up with it here and there, but that can't be your focus now because that's already been done. And you do actually believe in yourself. And I hope that when I say that it kind of awakens that if you don't remember that or if you don't realize that, it is there. You do believe in yourself, and maybe you needed somebody to remind you of that. So I hope that kind of awakens you. And now you need to go to the doing portion of things. So that means, so I was saying that that's going to make you feel a lot better because that's going to give you continued confidence. Because at some point, if all you're doing is focusing on the mindset, but not really doing as much of the action, at the end of it all, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't actually do anything. All I did was think about doing, and you're not going to feel good about that. But if you shift to doing more of the action now, because you have done the mindset work, so now if you shift to the action portion of things, when you look back, you're going to be like, wow, I did all this, and this. And the action part, the producing, the creation part, is what's actually going to get you the results that you want. So make sure that you don't forget about that. Make sure that you emphasize that because the work is going to get you the results. The mindset pulls everything in your favor, but then the work needs to be done to actually put something in the physical world for other people to interact with, and so you can bring in the results that all of this is about at the end of the day anyways. So that's basically the reading for today. The only other thing is I'm being called to tell you that you are on track, you are feeling strong, you're keeping the excitement up, and you are on your path to success. So just know that and keep going. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. My camera's falling. I hope it earned your like, and you're subscribed, and I will see you in my next video.